Welcome back to the channel. We're back in the Discovery for just a little addition, a little upgrade. So it's now done 165,588 miles to be precise, and obviously it's showing signs of wear. You can see all the marks, look, where it's worn from all the use that it's had. I'm not too fussed about marks on the outside, little scratches on the bumpers. I mean, it's got a broken passenger side mirror cover. It's all taped up and that sort of thing. I don't really see those day to day, but driving, you see the steering wheel all the time, and that just bugs me. Just one of those things. Just annoys me a bit. So I've seen on another channel on YouTube that I follow, somebody fitted a wheel cover, and it's not one of your local car accessory places. I think you probably know the sort I mean. That just fits over. This is a proper fitted one that you stitch on, and it all fits underneath the buttons and things very nicely. So I've got the box here. Bought it from a company called Wheel Finesse. You can go online and they've got all sorts of different makes and models of cars and all the different steering wheels that are associated with different models. So there's quite a few different Land Rover ones, obviously being the 4, and this is slightly different to a 3, which is different to a Range Rover, and just very slight differences. But and you can personalize them, so that the top piece and the bottom section here and here, you can have different to left and right, and you can choose to have your little racy center line in the top here. But as the Discovery is no sort of racing car, I didn't think I'd go for that. So it's now arrived. Let's have a quick look and see what you get in the box. I'll try and open this one. Not very easy open this one-handed while trying to hold the camera, so it's quite a fancy box. And we've got air freshener, always good. We've got a cheap kind of placemat. I'm not associated with Wheel Finesse at all or anything like that. This is just something that I bought, so yeah, somebody might be able to make use of that. And here's my cover by the looks of it. Yeah, some instructions, some double-sided tape to stop it moving around, and some thread in there as well to match the stitching on the cover. And you've got a tool, so this is apparently is to push the cover in here in all the parts, so then you can stitch it and it all fits nicely. The cover that I've gone for nappa leather at the top and the bottom, and then perforated at the sides. So let's just put that over the wheel and see what that looks like. So this is the wheel cover, just loosely fitted around the rim to give you a bit of an idea of what it'll look like. So like I said, just black nappa at the top, we've got perforated at the sides, and I've gone for grey stitching because it kind of matches the grey on the steering wheel. So the idea is you stick it down, or I think the instructions are a bit basic, but I think the idea is you use the double-sided tape to put inside to hold it in place, and then as you can see it comes together nicely and you need to stitch it together. So I'm not going to lie, this is my second go at doing this, because the first time I had a look, and the idea is you use this tool to push the cover behind all the parts, all the switches and stuff of the steering wheel, which, okay, doesn't look too bad a job, but then you've got to try and stitch it into the corners and things like that. You've got to start hit obviously in one corner, work all the way along. You do a couple of stitches across, and then you do every other loop to give it sort of the factory kind of look. But trying to get these behind here is an absolute pain. Plus, I'm not quite sure how you're kind of expected to do it on a Discovery anyway. Here with the paddles, they're so close to the steering wheel, I don't quite know how you're going to get that done. So I'm going to take the steering wheel off. I can basically strip the steering wheel so it's just the rim, and then I'm going to fit it, and then I can build the steering wheel up again, and I can get all these to hopefully fit perfectly and look really nice. So this is the second time, because I couldn't get the airbag out the first time. There is, if we can find them, little holes here that you put a tool in, and you pull a rod each side, and that releases the airbag. I modified a tool and I couldn't do it, so I've now bought this. It's a cheap tool that is specifically for Land Rover airbags, fitted to Disco 3, Disco 4, Freelander, etc. So I'll have another go and see if we can release the airbag. I'm only going to pop the airbag out of the clips just to check I can get it out with this tool, and then I'll go and disconnect the battery before disconnecting the airbag, etc. So he goes in there with a little jiggery pokery. Oh, that's just clipped out that side. You just saw it pop forward very slightly this side. So let's now go the other side and see if we can do the other side. So it wasn't very easy with one hand, but I've now released both sides, and you can see the airbag has popped forward. So this tool, I think it's from Laser. I'll leave a link in the description. I bought it on eBay. It's only £7, I think it was. So not that I'm particularly going to need it again, but I suppose it's quite a handy tool to have. Or if anybody wants to buy it, put a message in the comments, and I'll sell it. Battery's now disconnected, so we can gently pull, one-handed, gently pull the airbag forward, up, to show the wiring. So we've got a little spade terminal and 2 connectors there. We need to disconnect and then just get them out of this little cable tidy here, and then that should get the airbag off. Airbag is off. So these two, you just give a little squeeze at the sides, a little wiggle, and they came off. It just wasn't very easy doing it single-handed while holding the camera. But you can't get them the wrong way round when you're putting it back, because the black has got this little line at the top here, which you can see the brown one is a different shape, and the shapes are different in these, so you can't get them the wrong way round. Now the airbag's off, you can clearly see the parts that we pulled with the little tool. So they clip in behind these little lugs here, clip over here. So this tool just went down the side to pull those to release from there. If we put the tool down here, you can see where it's gone down that guide and it's sitting beside. So just that little pulls on there just to release the airbag. Quite simple. So I need to disconnect a little bit more wire in here, because this goes up for the buttons this side. So I think it's just a little push tab at the top, and that comes out. And then looking at the wire on its left, we've just got that connector in there, which doesn't look like that comes out, but we don't need to remove that anyway, because that can stay with the clock spring, which we need to be very careful of, that we don't rotate that when we take the steering wheel off. So you've got a locator dowel down here. So if we just take this bolt out the steering column, the top of the column, we should then hopefully be able to pull the steering wheel away. So I've now removed the bolt from the centre. It's a 16mm. I was going to say we need to mark the steering wheel, but it looks like we've got a line already marked on the wheel and on the column, so we can make sure we get the wheel in the same place. So if we just give that a gentle rock, just be careful of those connectors, making sure that clock spring doesn't move. There, wheel is off. You can see clearly see the locating dowel, which goes into the bottom of the steering wheel. So that's a fairly simple job once you've got the airbag off. So these 4 locations have these little self-tapping T20 Torx screws in, and the paddles have got a normal screw T20 Torx part, it looks like the paddle, and you pull that away, that just connects in the back there. So I don't think we've got to disconnect that. We just need to unscrew it from the actual wheel. So if we spin this round, we should hopefully now be able to pull this out. That's with a little bit of persuasion, but I don't want to be too rough with it. So I've done the left hand switches. So I'll show you on the right hand, you just have to give it a bit of a pull, and they unclip. And then we can just disconnect the wiring and take these off. So just an update, the paddles are wired like this, and the connectors just have a little push tab. It's a bit of a pain to get in because of where they're located, but they have a little push tab. So now getting the backing off the steering wheel, which I believe is the last bit, looks like we've just got 4 little fixings here. So we should, if I can support the steering wheel, just be able to squeeze those in a little bit. Easier said than done with one hand. But you get the idea, you squeeze those in and then hopefully the backing comes off. The backing is now off, it's just those 4 little clips. It's just not very easy doing it single-handed. So now you can see it's going to be a lot easier to fit this cover. So I think it's now early evening time. I'm going to get my kids to bed and then have a look at doing that in some peace and quiet. So the wheel cover is roughly in place, I believe. I have put some of the double-sided tape in, and I should be able to peel the backing off it. Now the cover's in position. I haven't put any right down sort of on this part where the cover is already covering. It's just a little bit further across each side, but you can see it should hopefully join up nicely. So I'm not going to try filming me stitching it together, but I'll do the first bit. Well, I'll do the first section and then give you a little update of how it's gone. So this is the first bit of stitching. I'm pretty impressed with that with the first go. It's a little bit awkward in these corners to get it sort of looking neat, but yeah, I don't think that's too bad for a very first attempt. So we'll carry on, we'll do the rest, and we'll then report back and see what it looks like before putting the steering wheel back together. So we're all stitched up. It's, I'm pretty impressed. First go ever attempting anything like this. I'm not exactly a seamstress. You know, this sort of thing really isn't my forte, but I'm pretty impressed with that so far. There's one thing I definitely realised is make sure it's 100% lined up. I don't think mine was quite lined up correctly. Not quite 100% because it doesn't quite sit how I'd like it. I mean, I'll build the steering wheel up indoors, and then we'll have another look at see what it looks like. So all the switches and paddles are back on the steering wheel, and I must say that's looking pretty good, I'd say. Vast improvement to what was there originally. I'm sure you'd agree. Once again, as I'm pretty impressed with the stitching and stuff. I'm no seamstress, but I work full time, or my full-time job is involved in Formula 1, doing wiring, and everything's sort of has to be millimetre perfect pretty much. So yeah, there's little bits on here that I'm not 100% happy with. That should hopefully stick down when it sits properly. So there is things that I would change if I was doing it again. I'd do certain things. I don't think I had the cover 100% lined up, which I think is why I'm seeing some of the parts that I'm not quite 100% happy with, but I tried pushing some little bits in with the tool that it comes with, but I don't know how on earth they expect you to, or how on earth you would get it all down in these bits sitting nicely and then stitch it up while it's on the car. It's been hard enough with the wheel off, but there we go. It obviously can be done. There's people that do fit them like that, but there. It looks kind of like it sticks up there, but it's not. It's just kind of how I've had to pull it across, and those little creases should work their way out, from what I understand. But there, that's the wheel there. So we'll chuck it in the car. So it's now the following morning. It was a bit dark by the time I got the wheel and everything all back together. You couldn't really see it too well in the video, so I thought I'd just wait till this morning to show you the final results fitted. And there we are, all fitted. There's a few bits that should just ease themselves out with a little bit of time, and just seems to stick up there slightly, so that's the sort of thing that's going to bug me, but I'm sure I can overcome that. But there we go. There's the final steering wheel. Stitching isn't perfect, but it's I'm pretty pleased with it and impressed for my first time. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.